Ladies and gentlemen, media friends, ellarku vanakkam. Now, before starting the conference, I heard Tamil Valaya, which is giving goosebumps to me. I appreciate Tamil people's love, dedication, commitment for their language, culture and heritage. I am proud of you. We had to, rest of the states, particularly southern states, has to learn a lot from Tamil people about their interest in these issues. Now, one of the participants, one of the organizers of this conference, Hindu, which is not a mere newspaper organization, it is an institution. We all know that their commitment in promoting and upholding the value-based system. Since pre-independence days, it championed the cause of freedom for a set of values. Those very causes and values found their reflection in the Constitution also. I congratulate the Hindu family for their patriotism, philanthropy. I am sure that this group will continue their legacy and service to the nation. In the past 2-3 decades, Mr. Ram played a very significant role in rethinking, originating value-based journalism. In fact, long back when I am a judge, I remember in 2006, we invited him to our High Court to give a lecture about the relationship between the journalism, journalists and the judiciary. He has said so many good things. I am also very happy. In one way, I started my career as a journalist in Inadu Group at that time. I wish all the best the Hindu family and Mr. Ravi and his family members and giving me an opportunity to participate in this. Similarly, we have the VIT Vellore Institute of Technology, which was established in the year 1984 by Dr. G. Viswanathan, who is an entrepreneur, more than he is a politician first initially, thereafter he became turned into educationalist and a social thinker, created a great institute in several places in India, which started with one campus. Now it is almost 4 or 5 campuses across the country. Now, I think I was told that 85,000 students are studying in that great institute. And most of the students who are participating today are from that institute. So I appreciate their efforts in giving training, education to the children and topping as number 10 institution in the country. Now coming back to the topic which was given to me, I say that 75% of my job is over. Mr. Sundaram has taken care of every aspect. I am just telling my law clerk something happened. It seems you have leaked the paper. The topics are the issues which I want to tell is already covered more forcefully than me, because he is every day he do this in the courts, so it is easy for him. For people like us who sits on the dais only hear their arguments and write something, so we may not give that effective way of delivering a lecture. However, I will try to say something. It was the best of times. It was the worst of times. It was the age of wisdom. It was the age of foolishness. It was the epoch of belief. It was the epoch of incredulity. It was the season of light. It was the season of darkness. It was the spring of hope. It was the winter of despair. We had everything before us. We had nothing before us. We were all going direct to heaven. We are all going direct to the other way. In short, the period was so far like the present period that some of its noisiest authorities insisted on its being received for good or for evil in the superlative degree of comparison only. 150 years back, Charles Dickens wrote these famous lines in the historic novel of Tale of Two Cities. I come across these words as a student, and they have resonated me throughout my life. These words also always remind me about the delicate balance between what is ideal, what is the real. The things which they described about me just now, about my biodata, whereas the reality is different. I came from a rural background, went to school with a barefoot, and walked almost 5-6 kilometers a day in the morning and in the evening. We had 2 meals a day, morning and evening, and no books. It is the only slate, one slate, which we had to carry. In a small school, elementary school, I learned something. I learned my alphabets of English at my class 7th, if I remember. I saw electricity at the age of 10 years. How brilliantly I am, my career and all that. The reality is this. So why I am saying this is, there is Charles Dickens, what he said, what I am saying now. There are 2 Indias in this country. One is India, which was described as very prosperous, very rich. And one is the country where people are still suffering for basic amenities, struggling for their livelihood. So, my young friends, you have to, coming to the world of legal profession, you have to keep this thing in your mind. Why I am saying is, all these days you are in the university campus, you have interacted with good professors, and no knowledge about what is happening in the courts, how courts will be. So, it is the time for you to visualize what is the real country is, what is the real status of the legal system is. So, I have thought of initially to explain to you like a lecturer, 3 parts of this system. One is the legal education, second is the legal system, third is the profession. But most of the thing which Mr. Sundaram has already taken, you all know that our system, education system as well as the legal system, we have borrowed or otherwise it is the system evolved to take care of the interest of the colonial people. Our profession, our education, this origin itself takes to the colonial times. They want a good English-speaking lawyers, so they train in the college with good English to take care of their colonial interest. The focus is rote learning and protecting the interest of colonial rules. Then, after entering into the profession, it is the duty of the lawyers most of the time to protect the interest of the government or the people in power. Mr. Sundaram already told about what is the profession, what is the legal colleges 50 years back. I think almost your age and my age is the same? Same? Okay. We had both had similar experiences. Of course, I don't know his background. He may be urban, Chennai born person, and your parents also educated and all that. You must have some understanding about this thing. Those days when we used to go to law school, law degree is the last resort. If you don't get anywhere anything, join law. This is how people used to take. And people used to ask us also, why are you studying law? Huh? Did you not get any employment? Or you are not getting any marriage proposals? These are the reasons which students are joined law college. That is the impression. Very unfortunate. But that is the reality. And it is also seen the law profession is a rich man's profession. It is only rich and privileged people who can go to courts, who can afford to be in profession, which is also correct. To become an independent lawyer, to recognize that you are a lawyer, at least you have to work minimum 10 years, with 15 years with a senior. You have to stand up on your own legs. You must have some background. And otherwise you have well connections, either in political circles or judicial circles or bureaucracy. Somebody has to be there. A taluk advocate has to practice. If he had a practice, he has to know the Tahsildar or the station house officer, police officer. Then only he will get briefs. This is the reality. If you want to practice in high courts, you must know some minister or somebody. So at least you will get some constitutional repetition cases, etc. So like that, the life is like that. And it is a 3 years course. Now, 3 years course, you know, Sundaram has told only half of it. I think he has nicely covered. But I want to be very frank and blunt. We never heard a great speeches or lectures from great lecturers and all that. The only thing is, most of the time we used to sit in the canteen, taking care of the student union problems or some students' problem. We was branded as the most, useless branch of law, the university. Our other university professors used to tell the vice chancellor, sir, please take away this law college from the campus, otherwise they spoil the other students also. They go every day and strike, and they say that why they are concerned with China's aggression on Kampuchea, Russia's aggression on something. This is how law students should be. Yes, it is a fact that I am proud of it. We used to raise for the occasion. We fought for everyone. We are concerned about the society. We are concerned about the human beings. We want to represent. We want to see, this is the only age where at least we can spend some time for the society. And again, lecturing is very difficult. So we used to, honestly, I say that we all study 30 questions at a glance. You know 30 questions at a glance? There is a series of questions published by Allahabad Law Agency. They cover all the topics and prepare 30 questions. It covers all the topics in the law, Evidence Act, Indian Penal Code, whatever it is. So in that, the lecturer, we request the lecturer on the last day of exam, sir, which questions we have to read. So he will select some 10 questions, you read the 10 questions and write some examination, and you get a degree and you become a lawyer. This is the reality. This is how we came. I am not hiding anything. This is the life. After that, this 5 years course has come now. I think it is better that at least to some extent qualified, intellectual, or people who has capable of thinking in clarity are joining in the profession. Who are serious in the profession, they are joining in the profession, which is good. And initially they are teaching English, grammar, etc. It seems. People like me, it is most important, as well as history, economics, something, some subjects initial they are introducing, apart from that moot courts, etc., etc. But it has its own problems. It's very expensive. And entering into these law colleges, particularly national law colleges, is a very tough job because the examination will be conducted in English and the questions and all that is very high standard questions where rural people cannot even compete. So there is a huge problem, and particularly the entrance methodology is a very, very, very serious issue which has to be looked into. Then thereafter, about the legal education, and I thought it is appropriate to quote why legal education is necessary and what is the meaning of legal necessity. Chagla, Justice Chagla, in his autobiography, Roses in December, has beautifully encapsulated. I quote, "Law is a great discipline of the mind. It teaches you how to think clearly, precisely, and accurately. Every word has its definite meaning and must find its proper place in its own context. Verbosity and diffusiveness are foreign to a well-trained legal mind. Such a mind is essentially logical and has the courage to face the result of its own mental process and not to hide them under a cloud of rhetoric and declamation," unquote. He has beautifully described what is the necessity of the legal teaching. Now, the world is result-oriented, result-driven. There is increasing transparency in the everywhere, every walk of life. And all the institutes which are functioning for public interest is transparent, has to be transparent, and people are aware of their rights. Therefore, be it governance or administration of justice or decision making, there is no place for theatrics. There is no alternative to logic and hard work. Now, here I think Mr. Sundaram already told, I don't want to repeat, a lawyer has to be versatile and he must know every subject. It is a fact. You can't be a lawyer with only knowing Evidence Act, Indian Penal Code, etc., etc. You must know economics, you must know history, you must know philosophy, you must know language, you must know literature. Many of times, senior advocates like Sundaram will win over the cases in Supreme Court, not by law. They will recite some poems, explain some anecdotes, and confuse the judge, get the relief. It is not, don't misunderstand me. I can tell one example. Our great Pitamaha, Bhishma Pitamaha, Parasharan, used to, one day, he had a very difficult time in Supreme Court. He is my guru. I assisted almost 10 years him in all important matters of Andhra government. So, very difficult time. And he knows that he is losing the case. How to save the situation? He started quoting something from Ramayana and how the dharma has to be. In Sanskrit. So, ultimately, judges convinced for his argument in this and he got relief. He saved the client. It's good. So, that's why lawyers should not have knowledge only in law. You have to have knowledge in other subjects also. So, it saves the situation. So, we used to say, lawyer has to be Sakala Kala Vallabha. You know the meaning of that. Majority of the senior lawyers also, not only in these subjects, the other activities also. Now I am coming back to this judicial system. The system is initially for British. Now we have created codes of hierarchy after the Constitution, and the role of the judges I need not say. It is the duty of every judge. Judge means in the system, judge means lawyer also, to protect the constitution and the rights, to create faith on the institution by the people. And even though we have enormous powers, we have to use the powers in the interest of public to do justice. This is the most important thing. And like any other public institution, court does not operate in vacuum. It is the people's participation about the courts that determines the strength and stability of the judiciary. Therefore, the Constitution establishes the judiciary. Its legitimacy comes from the trust and confidence of the people. At times, the institution has to face Agni Pariksha as well. But the system being resilient, I am sure it will meet the challenges. Every citizen desires an ideal world where justice is impartial, accessible, and delivered without fear or favor. This is also promise of our Constitution. Unfortunately, recent times, an average citizen is apprehensive about approaching the courts, fearing the unknown. They have raised concern about delays, pendency, accessibility, deficient infrastructure, large vacancies, transparency of legal proceedings, ill-equipped criminal justice system, increasing number of false cases, etc. The faith of the people in the judiciary is eroding. It is essential for us to address and engage with these perceptions and formulate solutions. I have been a strong proponent of Indianization of justice system. Indianization means that legal procedures and processes should be tailored to suit Indian population and its problems. The legal system must be accessible to the poor masses of the country. One effective way of Indianization of legal system is to have administration of justice in local language to enable transparency for litigants and public at large. The procedure and language of law makes it very difficult for the clients to understand the court proceedings. Once a case is filed, the litigant often feel that they have lost control over the fate of their dispute. However, once the language barrier is reduced, the case access to justice improves. There are also two other important issues which I want to highlight is, one is diversity, another is representation of women. Unfortunately, our judiciary does not reflect the diversity of the country. This is absolutely critical. We need to have judges from diverse backgrounds. Diversity in the bench ultimately enrich the jurisprudence. This problem requires action on part of higher judiciary to appoint more judges from diverse social and economic backgrounds. Salutary statements and lip service would not help the cause. The second issue is regarding representation of women. This has been a systematic issue affecting our profession in particular. Currently, there is minimal representation of women in judiciary. When I was the Chief Justice, I tried my best to get more number of women judges. There is no doubt there is also need for more women representation in government advocates and standing councils as well. Before I move on the part about the legal profession, I would like to briefly touch on the uncle judges syndrome. Through complaints regarding this have been around a while. The 230th Law Commission report has also highlighted the same. The report boldly stated that persons with well-wishers had a better chance of elevation. In recent times, senior judges of the Supreme Court have also been highlighting these issues. It is the need of the hour to get away from this culture in the system. Struggle for bringing a level playing field, a long-drawn battle. And I want to say a few things about the glory of the legal profession because we are one of the issues which they have raised while coming here is about why there is a special status to a lawyer in the society. Mr. Sundaram said it's a learned profession. Yes, it is a learned profession, noble profession, no doubt. You know the history and our legacy. Who fought for the independent freedom? Gandhi, starting with Mahatma Gandhi, Ambedkar, Nehru, Patel, everyone, Rajagopalacharia, everyone, you know, every state. The movement was led by these great lawyers. They sacrificed their properties. You know, Tanguturi Prakasam in the very Madras, he has shown his chest to the British and asked the police to fire me before firing the people. Such a sacrifice, such a leadership we have seen in the legal profession. What happened thereafter? Where is this lawyer profession? What happened to this legal profession? We have completely withdrawn from the field. We have handed over this field to others. You know what is happening now in the houses. I don't want to comment more than this. And we participated in the, not only in the independence movement, thereafter drafting constitution, thereafter in debates of the parliament. You know, Mr. Ramurthy, one of the senior member of parliament from Communist Party, how he helped in drafting Industrial Disputes Act. You read the commentary made by Ramurthy. He is from Chennai only. So, I am telling these great people who sacrificed, who never thought of their family or their wealth or anything. They worked for the society. That's why we have a special responsibility in the society. People look at us, what learned people will say. You know, you have seen when Palkiwala is a lawyer, every budget, the day and the evening he used to hold a public meeting in a stadium in Bombay. Everybody used to go and hear him and find out what is the budget. He used to analyze the budget. See, we are the lampposts. So we have to give something to the society. There are lakhs of people mugging in the jails. They need relief. Don't bother too much about you have to go to only corporate litigation and commercial litigation. The scope of the commercial litigation in the country is very less. It is less than 5%. 95% of the litigation is civil criminal cases still. You have ample opportunity to learn, to work. One more thing, there is a myth that I want to be a specialist in this field. Sorry, it never happens. See, a junior lawyer cannot afford to say that I only practice in this particular branch. As a lawyer, if you open your shop, you have to ready to argue any case whichever come to you. It is the client whom they make you as a specialist in a particular field. So please understand, a lawyer who wants to be a constitutional lawyer sometimes may land up a criminal lawyer because he gets number of criminal cases. He has to argue those cases and he has become an expert. So initial days, don't keep in your mind that I want to be a particular specialist. Very few people get the opportunity. Who have some background, some pedigree or some office, some clientage, they will get that opportunity, not all. So you must be open-minded. Once if you join in the profession, you will learn which is the branch which is good for you, which you will shine. This is the most important thing which I want to tell you, my young friends. And here I want to tell, of course, it is a little cynical, but I have no option, which I like a very, every time wherever I address lawyers, particularly in our Telugu state, to refer this, one of the story of Rachakonda Viswanath Shastri. Rachakonda Viswanath Shastri is a very famous criminal lawyer, a revolutionary poet, and he sacrificed all his life in defending the civil liberty cases and people who are in jail without any fees and all that. He's a great scholar. Unfortunately, he was born in India and in particularly a Telugu state, so nobody recognized his merit. But in one of the stories of him, it is called Aru Sara Kadalu. Aru Sara means 6 Arak stories. Sara means Arak in Telugu. This was written, I think, 1960. These stories was written. And one story is Maya. and it is in Telugu. I don't think that majority of you doesn't know Telugu, so I have made an attempt to give a gist of that story. It is very interesting for particularly young lawyers. I quote Maya. Murthy, name of the junior advocate, after getting law degree, wants to start his career. He approached a senior lawyer with humility. The senior lawyer told Murthy to remember one important thing. He stressed that to succeed in this world, you have to do the following things. He quote, "The early bird catches the worm," said the Englishman. Englishmen are very wise. He never does anything unless there is something in it for him. That is why he should reach the court every day early and get the court gates open. Morning you have to go to the court and you see that gates are open. And in the evening, wait until the court gates are closed. Always be alert and make sure that you are present in the court each and every day. Just like that, just like the cranes stand on the shores and foxes hang around the graveyards. Of course, the kind of comparison is not very pleasant, but this is what we must do. If you want to shine, you must always be in the court. You know what the court is? It is like a dense forest. Hyenas mimic human laughter and in the forest. If you go closer thinking there is another human, the hyena will eat you. We lawyers need to attract the clients that come to the court in this manner. Do not be shocked. It is the fault of the person who enters the forest, not ours. But there are bigger animals than hyenas. If we are not careful, then those animals will eat you. These courts, law books are invented by the British. There are many courts to approach. There are many judgments for judges to pick up and announce whatever ruling he wants. There are many rascals available to testify. We are there to justify. Whether it is civil case or a criminal case, it is all about evidence, not about any truth. It is enough to just shout words like justice, truth, and righteousness. Know that everything is illusion, Maya. How can any sin touch us when the system is like that? All the sins go to the judges. All the expenses are borne by the parties and all the fees are ours. English people owe their existence to the courts. They are big tricksters. They came to our country and sold our salt to us and said, "You ate our salt and be loyal to us." They built courts and jails for us and built bungalows for themselves. After hearing this, Murthy became nervous. The senior told him, "Don't be nervous. I spoke cynically, but this is the truth. If you remove the shred, the reality is this. Don't panic or be afraid." I unquote. This is the story which this gentleman has written long back. The system is like that now also, sorry to say. So, my dear friends, this is what I want to say. More than this, I don't think that, I think already we crossed our limits, speaking too much. And you have plenty of chances. And majority of the senior counsels are shining counsel in Supreme Court or other courts are from not only urban cities and allied people, from rural areas also. So many people are coming and they are practicing. And if you work hard, if you learn the functioning of a judiciary, you will get. Court cart is most important. Read the judge, follow the traditions, respect the elders. This is the most important thing which I want to tell you. Growth of cases is enormous because of enormous changes in the economic field, population growth, disputes, awareness of law, etc. And this is all I want to say. I will try to give the copy of the speech to this thing. And we have a social and moral responsibility. And one more thing I want to say. Don't think that allied posts or the Chief Justice of India post, judge posts or some other important advocate generals, attorney generals it will be only meant for a few people. Take case of my example. I am a rural background, no godfather, a son of a farmer. I reached to the highest position in the country. Not that I am great. It is the greatness of our constitution. It's the beauty of the democracy. So you understand, such a visionary document was there in this country, which takes care of everyone every citizen of this country. We have to respect and we have to follow the ethics of that. One finally I will say that one US judge said, what is the good qualities of a lawyer? That a good lawyer have 5 functions that include being a wise counselor, a skilled advocate, a contributor to the improvement of the legal system, and an unselfish and courageous leader of public opinion. This is the most important thing. If the judiciary has the responsibility to uphold the rule of law, the lawyers have similar responsibility to do that. A good lawyer has a duty even towards all those who cannot approach to the courts for justice due to the social and economic disability. Do your bit to the society. Take up more legal aid cases. And there are number of opportunities for you. You need not be a lawyer. You can work as a legal advisor to some firms. You can work as a law officer of some banks or government. And you can be a teacher. A lot of opportunities are there. I will quote one example where Daftari said once, C.K. Daftari, and while he was sitting in a library one day, he heard a conversation between 2 youngsters saying that it is right time, I think we must quit the profession. We are not shining here. There is no chance in this profession. We want to get out of this. I don't know what happened. Better sense will prevail on those 2 lawyers youngsters. They continued, and thereafter one has risen and one become the first Chief Justice of India, Justice Kanya, and second is the first Attorney General, Setalwad. So this is a good example. Keep inspiration from these type of things. You must enter the profession with zeal of a champion of justice. It would be false to state that every graduate would get equal opportunities upon graduation. You have to work and at least some years get ready and for that. And now our profession is witnessing difficult times. I sincerely hope that the next generation works hard to bring back to the glory. And finally, I will quote what Nariman said, Fali Nariman said. I quote, in this country of ours, the judiciary is the salt of the earth. My wish for the 3rd millennium is that, if it pleases to God, there be no occasion when it is said that the salt has lost its savor. Because as Bible warns us, if the salt ever loses its savor, then wherewith shall it be salted? Thank you, gentlemen, giving this opportunity. I wish you all the best. Thank you, everyone.
A big thank you to the Honorable Mr. Justice N.V. Ramana. May I request Mr. N. Ram, Director of the Hindu Group, and Dr. G.V. Selvam, Vice President of VIT, to present him with a memento. Can we have a big round of applause, please?
the front page of the Hindu on the day former Chief Justice of India, Justice Ramana, was born.